So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News and Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a short span of time. Now, needless to say this, you have to revise this lecture just after watching it, because if you don't and just watch this lecture, well, these current affairs would quickly escape your memory. Therefore, to retain them, at least till your exams, revision is extremely important. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us, and these notes are shared on our Telegram channel. The link to our channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. Alright then, enough of the introduction, let's straight away jump into the lecture. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. So let's begin. So daily current affairs, 8th of January, Thursday, and here is the topics list. Number one topic is a little bit controversial. It is with respect to gig workers debate in India. The Blinkit workers, the Zomato workers who went on strike, well, they are facing certain issues. So what issues they are facing? We'll talk about this. Then topic number two is related to skyrocketing silver prices. You see, the thing is that, well, we have touched upon this topic, that why silver prices are rising, but we didn't cover it in detail. Today, we will talk about both demand and supply side factors dictating silver prices. Okay, so this is topic number two. Topic number three is with respect to Commission for Air Quality Management. Recently, Supreme Court reprimanded CAQM, Commission for Air Quality Management, because they haven't been doing their job properly, and that is why we see deteriorating air quality in Delhi NCR region and the surrounding areas. So what is CAQM? What is their mandate? What are their challenges? We'll talk about this. Then topic number four is related to biomaterials. What are biomaterials? What are different types of biomaterials? What are their benefits? What are their applications? Everything. And the last topic is related to India's surveillance, law enforcement to prevent terrorist attacks, and that is NATGRID. So what is NATGRID? What is its mandate? When was it formed? All these things. So these are the 5 topics that we shall zero in our attention on. Let's start discussing them one by one. Starting with topic number 1, and that is gig work debate in India. Now, you must have heard this news that on 25th of December and 31st of January, on the eve of New Year's, well, gig workers, especially from Zomato, Blinkit, well, they said that they are on a strike and they won't deliver in 10 minutes. Now, the thing is that these gig workers are really, they have a lot of issues. They have a lot of grievances. Now, their grievances are also raised by political parties. But the owners of these tech platforms, Zomato, Swiggy, well, they presented a different side of the story. Now, the debate is that yes, this gig work is providing the much needed employment, but this gig work is really exploitative. So how can we reduce this exploitative thing of gig work and increase the benefits? Because it is, after all, providing the much needed employment. So how can we regulate it in the best possible way? This is the entire debate. Okay. By the way, I don't need to define the terms gig workers, platform workers. Gig work is basically freelance work. Okay. You're not employed per se with a particular company. You're not on their payroll. Basically, you don't receive a salary. You receive compensation for the amount of work you have done per work. So, for example, Blinkit delivery boys or girls, for them, the amount of deliveries they have done. Uber, Ola drivers for the amount of rides they have completed. They're all gig workers. And if these gig workers are associated with a particular platform like Uber, Ola, Blinkit, Zomato, Swiggy, Instamart, if they're associated with a particular platform, they are platform workers. So remember this thing, that gig workers is a broader category and platform workers is a subcategory within gig work. Okay. And there is this another term that is thrown around, which is called aggregators. So these Uber, Ola, Blinkit, Zomato, these people are called aggregators because they aggregate all gig workers on one platform. So these 3 terms you should be familiar with, okay? Gig work, platform work, aggregators. All right, now let's talk about their issues. So gig work debate in India. So what was in the news? India's gig economy employed about 7.7 million workers. That's around 77 lakh workers in 2021. Niti Aayog report says that this is projected to increase to 23.5 million workers by 2030. Now, strikes on New Year's Eve 2025 and Christmas led by unions like Indian Federation of App-Based Transport Workers, highlighting deteriorating work conditions despite economic growth. So these apps are growing, business is growing, but their work conditions are declining. Now, how so? What sort of issues these gig workers or these platform workers are facing? So issues of workers. Now delivery workers face declining per delivery pay. So they get pay per delivery. That is declining. Okay. Plus their fuel cost is increasing. Yes. So this is decreasing their margins. Incentive structures are based on milestones, how much distance you have covered, high fuel costs are there. There is no social security. Every other worker, every other formal worker receives some sort of social security, employee state insurance, PF, PPF, Provident Fund, okay, health insurance. But because these gig workers are freelancers, they don't receive any social security benefits from their company. Okay, so this is one problem. Then high attrition. So there is high attrition among gig workers. What do you mean by high attrition? Many join, but many leave also. So there is this churning going around that many are joining because of lack of employment. Okay, Blinkit, Zomato, and many are leaving also because they don't like the exploitative structure. I mean, as per them. Okay, so there is high attrition. Now, high attrition signals unsustainable jobs amid unemployment. Okay, but because there are so many people ready to join Zomato, yes, many are leaving, many are complaining, but there is a larger pool of people who are ready to work at very low price, okay, very low wage cost also, because there is oversupply of labor. That is why labor costs are low and they become unfeasible for these gig workers, especially with rising fuel costs. So this is there. Now, what are these gig workers demanding? Regulation of fair wages, 10 rupees per kilometer, 40,000 monthly minimum. They want a law or government notification with respect to this. Paid cancellation. So if someone cancels your order, well, your pay should still be provided. Okay. Maternity benefits, emergency leave, human grievance mechanism. Currently, if these gig workers have any complaint, well, they can file their complaints, but that complaints portal is managed by AI, which does not address their problems effectively. So they are asking for a human grievance redressal mechanism. There should be a person dedicated to handle their complaints in every store. Okay, so that's their demands. Now, the thing is that, as you read before, gig work has been on the rise since 2020-21. And since then, everyone is aware of the fact that they don't get any social security benefits. We all know about it. And social security is very important for every worker. Health insurance, provident fund, these schemes are very important. Now, the thing is that as per labor laws of India, I mean, previous labor laws of India, gig workers were not even recognized as proper workers. Freelancers were not recognized as workers with a company. That is why there were no regulations and laws with respect to them. But with the new law, Code on Social Security, gig workers are identified, they are properly defined, and there are various social security schemes that the government has launched especially for them. So what is the regulatory mechanism now? Previous labor laws did not address gig workers. For them, gig workers never even existed. But the new labor laws, the 4 labor codes, they have developed a regulatory mechanism for gig workers, their rights, their obligations, everything. And they have also defined the term gig work, platform work. So what is the regulatory mechanism? Let's talk about this. So regulatory framework. So for their social security benefit, under the Code on Social Security that was passed in 2020, gig workers, platform workers, aggregators have been defined for the first time. Okay, as a person who performs work outside the traditional employer-employee relationship. They are not in traditional employer-employee relationship. They don't have a 9 to 5 job with a fixed salary, nothing of that sort. But they have been defined. Now, this definition and this recognition enables their registration on national database. Government now knows about them and opens access to schemes. Now, government has launched various health insurance schemes like PMJAY, okay, Ayushman Bharat, and many other schemes. Now, earlier these gig workers were not recognized, and that is why they couldn't access these schemes that the government had launched for workers. Now they are recognized, so they have access to whole host of these schemes, okay, for laborers. Health, disability, accident insurance, old age support, pension schemes. It envisions the creation of social security fund. So this Code on Social Security also creates a social security fund, special social security fund, in which money would be contributed by central government, state government, and these companies. Okay, Zomato, Swiggy, they'll also put money, okay, 1 or 2% of their aggregate revenue. And this fund will be used to provide social security benefits to these gig workers. So this is the advantage of this Code on Social Security. Plus, Code on Social Security is a central law. But remember this fact that labor is a concurrent subject. That means it belongs to concurrent list. That means central government can make a law, parliament can make a law, state legislature can also make a law on labor. And for gig workers, Karnataka and Rajasthan have created their own laws as well, facilitating gig workers. Okay, so this is the regulatory framework for gig workers, yet exploitative conditions, as per many experts, still exist. So we need to further regulate this sector. That's the demand. Like, you know the demands, right? Regulation of fair wages, paid cancellation, all these things don't exist now. They want that they should also, these demands should also be enshrined in a law or a government notification. You understand the issue? All right. So yeah, this is as far as gig worker issue is concerned. Now let's quickly shift our focus to next news item, and that is skyrocketing silver prices. Now you see, metals, okay, precious metals, well, their prices have skyrocketed in the entire year of 2025, and it is still continuing in 2026. Gold has risen dramatically, copper has risen dramatically, and silver has risen by 126%. That's a lot. Okay, now we did cover this topic in one of our previous current affairs lectures. Okay, why copper and silver prices are rising, but we gave a cursory mention to silver and mostly we discussed copper. So that is why I'm discussing this topic today, because I want to elaborate on the dynamics of silver prices. Okay, so let's quickly finish this topic. Why are silver prices rising? Let's quickly do it. Okay, so skyrocketing silver prices. Silver prices surged over, sorry, not 126, 160% in 2025, far outpacing gold. Okay, driven by industrial demand, supply constraints, geopolitical factors. Despite a sharp one-day drop, the prices dropped for one day and then again it started rising. Now listen to me very carefully. The thing is, why do prices increase? A very simple reason is behind every price rise, and that is to do with demand and supply. Right? Demand and supply of a product determine their prices. Now, prices would rise whenever demand is greater than supply, when demand outstrips supply. Okay. Now, this can happen through two ways. Okay. How can demand outstrip supply? Either supply stays constant and demand increases. Okay. So, increase in demand, that increases prices, or demand stays constant but supply drops. Okay, these are the two reasons which create conditions for demand outstripping supply and leading to price rise. Okay, now in case of silver, both these things happened. Demand also increased, supply also dropped for the year of 2025, and that is why the prices rose by 160%. Now let's talk about one by one demand side factors, supply side factors. Okay, so first let's talk about demand drivers. Why has demand increased? So you see, unlike gold, in gold the demand is mostly for jewelry purposes and store of value. What do you mean by this? People generally demand gold either for making jewelry or they want to do some investment, some savings. People buy gold for savings also, investment purposes also. These are the two demand drivers for gold. But in case of silver, there is a third demand driver, and that is industrial demand. Silver is one such product that is used for jewelry, can also be used for store of value, but its maximum demand, 50% of its demand, comes from industry, because silver is used in the manufacture of solar panels, electric vehicles, batteries, electronics, defense, medical tech. So there is industrial demand for silver, unlike gold, which is only demanded for either investment or jewelry. Okay, jewelry coins add cultural pull, especially in India during festivals. So during festivals, there is another set of or another block of demand that is coming. Okay, that comes every festive season. So India is one culprit. And then what happened was there was a fourth demand driver. People realized that silver prices are going to increase in future also. So what did people start to do? people started buying silver. Okay, they started hoarding silver. Why? Because they thought that if silver is 100 rupees today, it is definitely going to become 200 tomorrow. So let's buy 100 rupees silver now. So people started hoarding silver because of speculation. And because of this hoarding, everyone started buying silver for investment purposes, that its prices are going to increase. So this increased the demand. And this was the reason. Okay, so these are the demand drivers. But I also told you that it's not just the increase in demand that has driven silver prices, it's also the fall in supply. The supply is not able to match demand. Now, what are the supply side constraints? Okay, first of all, remember that there are no silver mines in the world. Actually, there are gold mines, copper mines, okay? And in those mines, silver is released as a byproduct. Silver mostly a byproduct of lead, zinc, copper mines. It doesn't have its own mine. Okay, in copper mines, you will find silver, zinc mines, lead mines. That is why already there is a very low supply of silver. Okay, this silver faces inelastic supply, unable to match demand. Okay, then US stockpiles balloon due to tariff fears because Donald Trump announced that he's going to apply tariffs on other countries. Okay, so American importers thought that tomorrow, if we will import silver, we'll have to pay so many duties. So let's import silver now before Donald Trump's tariffs kick in. This led to hoarding. Okay, and when there is hoarding, everyone is hoarding silver in their godowns. There is artificial shortage of supply in the market. This was there. Then China's new 2-year export alongside, so China put export restrictions on tungsten, antimony, and silver also. China is a huge exporter of silver. So this also, along with rare earths. So these export restrictions, China blocked its exports. So this led to silver shortage in the global market. So these are the supply side factors. I hope you understood each and every one of them. Okay, that would be all as far as this topic is concerned. And now let's quickly shift our focus to next news item, and that is Commission for Air Quality Management, CAQM. Now, the thing is that recently Supreme Court said that air quality in Delhi and the surrounding regions, okay, is not up to the mark. Actually, it's not just the fact that it is not up to the mark, it's actually really worse. Okay. Now, government has taken so many actions, so many initiatives to manage air quality in Delhi NCR and its surrounding areas. Okay. One such initiative was establishment of Commission for Air Quality Management. Its job was to give scientific data with respect to air quality. Plus, CAQM's job was to release or to give publicly available data for each and every pollutant, its source, and how much is every source contributing to poor air quality. Okay, people expect scientific data from them. That 20% pollution is because of stubble burning, 10% is because of vehicular emissions. This proper data should be available so that government can take the appropriate action. Currently, you must have heard that government took this action of banning tandoors in the entire city of Delhi, these cooking tandoors. Yes. Now, this is an arbitrary action. First, the government should know how much tandoors are contributing to poor air quality. You need this data. This data should be provided by CAQM, but CAQM has been unable to perform its duties and give this data. Therefore, recently, Supreme Court reprimanded CAQM and told them to quickly come up with this data as to how each pollutant is contributing to air pollution and how each source of that pollutant, whether it's vehicles, industrial emissions, how much is the contribution of each and every source. Only then the government can take appropriate action. Okay, if vehicular emissions are contributing only 2% of poor air quality and you're banning all vehicles, that's poor policy, right? So this is the thing. Now our focus would be what is CAQM, okay, and what are its functions and what are its challenges, why Supreme Court reprimanded it. Okay, so let's begin. So Commission for Air Quality Management, what was in the news? CAQM has failed to address Delhi's chronic air pollution effectively following a Supreme Court reprimand on January 6, urging source-specific quantification. How each and every source is contributing to air pollution, how much? Okay, quantification word is important. And then give long-term solutions. Court dismissed over-reliance on stubble narrative. Okay, quote said that people are over relying on stubble narrative, which means that everyone says that Delhi's air quality is bad because of stubble burning. Now you're over relying on this narrative. We don't know how much stubble burning is contributing to poor air pollution. Maybe there are other reasons as well. Now, what are those other reasons? That data should have been provided by CAQM. Okay, so court reprimanded them. Now, as far as the job of CAQM is concerned, let's talk about CAQM. So it is a statutory body. Remember, it is a statutory body established as per a law made by Parliament. What was the law? NCR and Adjoining Areas Act. What is their mandate? Okay, CAQM aims to improve AQI through research, monitoring, policy making, and interagency coordination. You see, Delhi's air quality is managed by various agencies. Central Pollution Control Board, State Pollution Control Board, Haryana State Pollution Control Board, UP State Pollution Control Board, Punjab State Pollution Control Board. There are so many agencies, plus police is also involved. There needs to be proper coordination among all these agencies. That would be provided by CAQM. What are their key functions? Framing emission standards, issuing binding directions that you need to close this industry, stubble burning, restricting polluting activities, generating real-time data for hotspots. Okay, which area is a hotspot as far as poor air quality is concerned. Now, this data should be released real-time. Okay, remember this. Now, CAQM basically supersedes State Pollution Control Board in NCR for air quality matters. So, it is superior to SPCBs, okay, state boards. Just remember this. CAQM is at the top. Okay. Now, remember, CAQM has a chairperson, many members, all of them are appointed by central government. State governments have no role to play in this. Okay. Now, what are the challenges and shortcomings of CAQM? So, lack of source apportionment. The same problem which Supreme Court said, CAQM has failed to quantify pollution contribution from key sources. How much contribution is from vehicles, industry, dust, stubble? There is lack of data on source apportionment. Then reactive over proactive measures. CAQM takes reactive, short-term measures. That if air pollution is rising, ban vehicles, ban industries, ban tandoors. These are reactive. You don't take long-term policy measures. Then enforcement gaps. Directives depend on fragmented state agencies. There are pollution control boards, municipalities, police. You all need to coordinate. Now, this coordination is the job of CAQM, which is not performing this job properly. Okay, coordination issues and enforcement gaps. Each and every agency is not performing their duty properly. So these are the reasons. I hope you understand all of them. And I'm sure most of these reasons are already known to you. Okay, these are the usual suspects. All right. Okay. Now let's move on to next news item. And that is, what are biomaterials? There was this article in the Hindu Explained newspaper, which talked about biomaterials. What are they? What are their applications? What is their importance for India? All of this data was given. Now, I think there is a high chance that this particular topic will feature in your prelims as well as mains examination. Therefore, pay close attention when we are discussing this topic. Okay, so let's do it. So what are biomaterials? What was in the news? Basically, the definition of biomaterials. So biomaterials, pay close attention, okay, are materials derived wholly or partly from biological sources. So any material, useful material derived from plants, bacteria, viruses, agricultural waste, or engineered via biological processes, okay, like GM crops, they are genetically engineered, or any which way. They are engineered to create a separate product from biological resources, plants, animals, okay, to replace fossil-based materials, okay, or to replace fossil fuels. Like there is this thing called biofuels. Biofuels will replace fossil fuels, like ethanol blending. So these biomaterials are called These biomaterials, I mean, biofuels is just one example of biomaterials. Biomaterials is a broader category. You understand this? Now, types of biomaterials. This is very important. So drop-in, drop-out, novel. Okay, so what are drop-in biomaterials? So these are chemically identical to petroleum plastics, okay, like biopet, biodegradable plastics. Then there are dropout, chemically different, need new processing, like different type of biodegradable products. Okay, then novel, offer unique properties beyond conventional materials, like bioactive implants, okay, implants in your body. self-healing composites. This is used for these are some biopharmaceuticals. So just remember the different types of biomaterials. Drop-in, they are exactly similar to the biological materials found in nature. They are different, chemically different from materials found in nature. These are something new, okay, which can be something new created in the lab, which can be inserted into your body also, like or prosthetics, or they are saying stem cell kidneys, not stem cell kidneys basically, but they are creating these biodegradable materials that can be inserted in your body and do the job of your organs. So these are some things that are being researched on. All right. Now, what are their applications? Well, used in packaging, textiles, construction, okay, green manufacturing. And what are their challenges? Well, producing them at scale. This is one big challenge. Cost competitiveness, they're really expensive. I mean, bioplastics are way more expensive than actual plastics. So how would you encourage shopkeepers to use bioplastics? They will buy plastics because they are much cheaper. This is a problem. Waste management is a problem. Okay, infrastructure, because these biomaterials are sometimes produced from waste products, organic waste products. But in India, waste management is very poor. Organic waste products are just thrown around in landfills. So this is a problem. Now, why are biomaterials important for India? Well, India's bioplastic market is high. It aligns with green growth, investment in R&D. These are some things that you can, well, read from the notes as well. And now let's move on to last news item, and that is NATGRID. So I'll cover this topic in brief. Okay, so what is NATGRID? You know, 26/11 Mumbai attacks, right? They happened in Mumbai. Terrorists came from sea. They attacked Taj Hotel, Oberoi Hotel, and many areas, right? Now, the main reason behind those attacks was, or the usual culprit was, intelligence failure. Now, it was, investigated, this allegation was investigated, and it was found out that many intelligence agencies gave the input that something big is going to happen on 26/11. Many intelligence agencies already had this input that this terrorist attack is going to happen. But because of lack of coordination among different agencies, police and all, customs, well, nobody could prevent this attack. Coordination was a big problem. So to solve this coordination problem, well, you created a national digital database. All intelligence agencies and many other agencies, all their data would be uploaded on this database. And if anyone wants to investigate, let's suppose you found a culprit and you want to investigate him. So you just log into NATGRID, upload his photo, and you will find out that are there any police cases in any state? Are there any intelligence inputs from RNAW, Intelligence Bureau, customs? Because all these organizations, their data is connected to this database. So it is a search engine for law enforcement agencies for finding terrorists and criminals. It's like a search engine, which will give you all information in different databases of different agencies. This is called NATGRID. Now, an article was published in the Hindu newspaper saying that this NATGRID can also be used by government for mass surveillance and invade people's privacy. This is one problem, but there are various benefits as well. Let's take a look at all these things. Okay, so NATGRID. So this is the formation of NATGRID: intelligence failure, lack of coordination. Okay, now about NATGRID. So National Intelligence Grid is under Ministry of Home Affairs, managed integrated intelligence platform conceptualized post Mumbai attacks to enable real-time data sharing for counter-terrorism and crime prevention along 21 plus database. Now, what are these 21 plus databases? Aadhaar database, passport database, bank records, tax vehicle registration, FASTag database, train ticket database. All these databases would be connected, right? And there are facial recognition tools also on this platform called Gandiva facial recognition tools. And to ensure that right to privacy is ensured, well, there are certain safeguards also, encryption, everything. Okay, but there are certain challenges. But before that, let's talk about benefits. So counterterrorism, operational efficiency, all institutional coordination through tech, and broader security impact. The challenges are also huge because through this you can invade Indian citizens' privacy. Then so much data is there. If some malicious actor hacks into this database, cybersecurity vulnerability. Plus, there is lack of oversight and accountability also. And then to implement this huge project, it's a big task. So there are these challenges as well. These challenges are explained in detail in your notes. Do check them out as well. All right. And that would be all. With that, we conclude today's session. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it will add more value if you revise this lecture as well. So please do not forget to do that. And I shall take your leave with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.